one of the stars of Bob Hearts Abishola every single Monday night on CBS at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, including tonight. They're already in the midst of season 2. One of our favorites. Love this guy, Billy Gardell, back here on the show. How are you, Billy?
Hello, sir, and happy Thanksgiving weekend belated. Hope you had a great one.
I did, Billy. And, when I say you're one of my favorites, it's not just because you and I have great chats when you come on the show. You know that, Billy, right? You know that, right? It's not just that.
No, I believe you, Rich.
No,
I believe you.
It's
and
because
I feel the same, although...
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, it's because you're a man with a big heart, and it's not just because your show has got a heart in the title of the show, Billy. You're a man with a big heart who also is, if I may say, a regular viewer of this show, and you keep up on what goes on this program. Right, Billy?
Well, I do, Rich. And what does it take to build a championship team, Rich? You got to count on the guy next to you. Am I right?
You are correct, Billy. You are correct.
You got to have accountability and know that those guys have your back no matter what, right?
That's right, Billy. That's what the Steelers don't just...
Well, imagine
this
my
week
disgust when a couple weeks ago on the show, Brockman and Michael got their hands on some Luminaldi's pizzas.
Yep.
And they didn't even say anything to you.
That's correct,
Let
Billy.
me tell you something. That needs to be called out in the open. My buddy Joey O'Connell, who I moved from Pittsburgh with 20 years ago in Los Angeles, we took whatever the car would hold and came to L.A. with $2,000 in our pockets for 1 month's rent.
Mm-hmm.
And we have shared everything from a gas station cheeseburger to a 5-star meal at Mastro's. And I have never once not told that man what was going on in the food department. And he has never done that to me either. So the two of you need to look at yourselves. Because if you want to go the distance, you got to have your boss's back. That's all I'm going to say on that topic.
Yep, and you also didn't mention our social media grandmaster, T.J. Jefferson, involved in that, our call screener who you spoke to when you called in moments ago, Adam Chudwin, all of them, jackals. There's no other way to put it.
You know what?
Jackals.
You know what, Rich? I would be running 2-a-days over there. I would keep those guys out of craft service for a little while until they learn their lessons. And just so you punks know, I sent Rich a pack of 6 Luminaldis that are at his house, and I hope he doesn't share any of them with you. That's how I feel about it.
Is fact. As a matter of fact, Don put up the text that I screen grabbed and sent. I go to the door. There is a box of pizzas because Billy asked me for my address about a few days before. I sent him a text. Did you send pizzas? He wrote back. Let me read for the radio audience. Those are the pies those heathens should have shared with you. We will deal with those two properly when I come on the show next week. An LOL and then a heart emoji because, like I said, you're all about heart, and it's not just because the heart emoji's in your show title, Billy. That's what's called full circle, like a pizza.
I look at myself as a nice filler when you can't get McConaughey on. You know what I mean?
You're just as handsome, Billy. You're just as handsome.
You are what you're the.
You know what? I look like I ate Clark Gable. Is what I look like.
You know what you are, Billy? You're the deep dish version of McConaughey. That's what you are. That's what I'm saying.
I am the. That's exactly right. I'm the deep dish McConaughey.
Yes, you are, Billy. Yes, you are.
It's a good fantasy name.
And I greatly appreciate your friendship, your concern, your respect. Let's
tighten it up there, boys. Let's tighten it up a little bit, all right? Let's look out for our quarterback.
You got it.
Thank you. 10-0, William. 10-0. Your team is 10-0, and we're assuming 11-0 is right around the corner as well. How does that feel?
Well, let's hope. I kind of feel like Baltimore has become a little predictable this year, and I think people are kind of catching their number, and I hope they stay that way through this week because nothing – I got to tell you, watching 4, 3, and 7 teams on Thanksgiving was very 2020. That was right on brand for 2020.
Yes.
And I'm really the beginning of the true Christmas season for me would be dashing Baltimore's hopes. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and send them home for the holidays because that's what we know is going to happen. But that's inevitable.
You know, and I know. Look. Big Ben was somewhat of a question mark coming into the season because of his injury and how he missed last year and his advancing age. But when I say how does it feel to be 10-0 on the version of 11-0, like this didn't even happen during the Steel Curtain era, Billy. This is like a first for you.
No,
You know
never.
what I mean?
They never got past. I think 8-0 was the
Right.
furthest they'd ever gotten undefeated. This is tremendous, and it's one of those teams though that with the defense is the difference. The advent of Ben coming back and having that cannon at full power, nobody knew that was going to happen. That was an incredible treat. The young receivers stepping up, Johnson and Claypool. This kid Claypool, I love him. We can't get him downfield enough as far as I'm concerned. But the defense, man, the defense and the special teams, Ray McLeod. And I got to tell you, since that trade we made for Minkah Fitzpatrick, was the best in the world, because that part of the field is where we used to get scorched. I mean, Brady would tell us, he'd like, I love cover, I love zone, and he would torch us in that area. And I believe Minkah has taken that away, and because he's taken that away, that pass rush has intensified. The Steelers have always lived on linebackers, and when your linebacking core is strong enough, you can kind of hide the holes in the secondary. And for a while, we didn't have all those engines in there, but now, man, these guys are on their horses and they're ready to go. Watt and Tuitt. And I even love the guys that are stepping up. Spillane, he's on the case. That's what I did. You saw it. And I just feel like we have a very special group right now. You know that feeling. When you watch your team long enough, you go, hold on, something's cooking. And I just, the only two teams I see, now, the Steelers in the past, we've been notorious to playing down and losing a game we shouldn't have, but I think they're different this year that way. But the two teams that worry me a little bit the rest of the way is Buffalo, because I think they're heating up again, and I'm very wary of Indianapolis's defense. I think it's better than a lot of people give them credit for, and those are the two teams that might have a shot at ruining us running the table. But like I said, we're just worried about getting Baltimore and making sure we send them home miserable this week. That's all we're hoping for right now.
Billy Gardell here on the Rich Eisen Show, and we'll talk about Bob Hearts Abishola in a second. Again, Season 2 continues tonight on CBS every Monday, as it does at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm looking at the schedule here. You got Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, though. So and again, I know that we're not talking about fans and craziness and waving towels, but there is still that temperature and the confluence that is unique to your stadium. The Buffalo one, I don't blame you, man. I mean, that is going to be a great game. It's a Sunday nighter. The whole country. It's at Western New York. It's just up the road. It's just great. I love Josh Allen versus Big Ben. It's just going to be one of those Donnybrooks. But I do think there's a real shot at 16-0, man. I really do. And then the question about that lurks essentially is the one team that the football god schedulers did not see fit to put on the schedule, and that's Kansas City. You got to be genuinely concerned about that being down the road, I imagine, Billy.
Well, especially after watching Mahomes and Hill go off like they did. That's the thing with that team. You got to get up on them early, and you got to keep on the gas as long as you can, because that's the kind of team where it's just all of a sudden it's a waterfall. You're up by 13, and then they score 24. Unanswered. So I think getting off on them early is the key. I think you got to give up some coverage to put a spy on Mahomes, but I don't know. I think the Raiders have played them a couple times tough this year. They seem to have a semblance of a defense for them, but the dangerous thing is at any minute it's just raining touchdowns with that team. So, yeah, that team definitely worries me. And I'll tell you who else nobody wants to play is Tennessee. No one wants to see that truck of a man, Henry, running at them, especially if he gets up into the second level. Oh, my goodness. He reminds me so much of Jerome Bettis. It's you can just see the defense get deflated. When there's 5 minutes left on the field and he comes trotting out, you just know you're in for a 5-minute beating before you might get the ball back.
Yeah, that's
He's just devastating. And I think Tennessee is – I got to tell you, and that's another team, the way you beat them is you got to get off early again. That's how we beat them. Because if you get off early, then Tannehill looks like he did when he played for the Dolphins. But if they're grinding, Man, that's a team I don't think anybody wants to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be a rematch again of that game in which Tennessee came storming back, and Big Ben watching Gostowski miss at the end. It was just like, okay, we'll take that. I mean, didn't see that one coming. And,
yeah,
but
we'll take it, man. We'll take it and run out of here.
Because again, I love you, Billy Gardell. I'm going to give you your dream scenario. You ready for this dream scenario? Here's the dream scenario for you, Steeler.
Go, give me.
For you, Mr. Pittsburgh Steeler. For all the Steelers fans, AFC Championship game. You welcome Le'Veon Bell into your house. You beat him. Then you go to the Super Bowl and you see Antonio Brown in Tampa, where we all know Santonio Holmes once dotted the I for Big Ben, who didn't get the MVP that game. But you go to Tampa against Antonio Brown and you beat them, and Big Ben does get his Super Bowl MVP, and you hoist the Lombardi in 2020. How about that? That's your dream scenario right there, right? That's it.
I'm fine with all that. I love all that. And if the Patriots, they're going to miss the playoffs as well. So
but
that's just
Brady.
Extra joy for all at the holiday season.
But you beat Brady and Antonio Brown in the place where Santonio Holmes dotted the I. But even with all that, Ben didn't get the MVP. You do that, but you got to beat Le'Veon Bell first in your own house. Your thoughts?
And then I think that would be perfect. And then I hope NFL Films will hire me to narrate that. And instead of that deep sentimental voice, I'll just do it as a Yinzer. And then we couldn't believe it. We got down into the end zone and we blew Brady out.
I would pay for that. I would pay for you to do a Yinzer voice over a Steelers championship reel. I would totally buy that. America's game.
Them Steelers were coming in riding an undefeated season, and that ain't easy in that,
Who came on and said that the old joke is how many Pittsburgh Steelers fans does it take to fix a light bulb? Like it's one to screw it in and three to talk about the great steel curtain days. Who told us that joke? Somebody told us that joke.
That's funny. I don't know.
It'd have to probably be Joe.
I forget somebody told us that joke.
Seems like he would be
How many
one.
Steelers fans does it take to fix a light bulb? One to screw it in and three to talk about the great steel curtain days while they do it. That's the one that I heard recently. Oh, gosh. All right. So
I see nothing wrong with that. I do that when I'm at the grocery store.
Fantastic.
I remember a couple of years ago, I was at the grocery store out here before Super Bowl, and it was the one where we were playing Seattle, and I was at the checkout, and there's a guy behind me in a Seattle shirt, and he had some balloons. He had some Seattle balloons he'd bought at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I turned around and said, "You know what? You wait 4 hours, those will be on sale."
How'd that one go with that 12? How'd it go with that 12? Did it go all right?
I'm not sure they get the East Coast humor out here.
No, they do not. But, hey, the good thing is, Billy, we can cut people off in traffic because we're East Coasters and everybody else is here laid back.
That's you give the weight.
Get that,
that's
exactly.
all the weight.
Everybody out here in L.A. lines up to get off in the same lane and an exit, and you could just go right in front of it because that's the way we drive. Bob Hearts Abishola, sir, season 2. This is a funny show with a good heart, and you're the perfect guy to make this thing work. You must be loving this. You must be loving it, Billy.
Rich, I'm beyond grateful. I mean, usually, you get on a hit sitcom, that's a 1 in a million shot, and then they give you another chance, and by episode 4, you're canceled, and you're doing infomercials. So to be in the mix again, I am beyond grateful, and I think it's a sweet show. It has a sweet message, and of course, it's written by Chuck Lorre. And Al Higgins, and so it's like working for the Yankees, man. I'm incredibly grateful, and it's been getting good reviews and good ratings, and God willing, we'll let this one run for 5 or 6 years as well.
I'll give you the floor on what the message is for those who might be new to your show and why they should watch it. Billy, go for it.
Yeah, Bob Hearts Abishola. Bob is he's a Midwestern guy, owns a compression socks factory, and he has a heart attack from the stress of the business and taking care of his family, and he wakes up in the hospital, and he meets this nurse who is from Nigeria, and she is here as a hardworking immigrant in this country trying to make a better life for her son and her family, and the commonality that they share is they both take care of their families, and she has a lot of strength and stoicism, and Bob is a hard worker, but he knows how to have fun, and they kind of give each other what they don't have, and the message of this show is, if you're lucky enough to fall in love, doesn't matter what that person looks like, doesn't matter what size, shape, color, love wins the day. It's the most powerful weapon we have, and it's the last one we reach for. So I'm very proud of this show, man. I think if you give us a couple shots, you'll be hooked.
Now and obviously many people have, Billy, but it's got a great message. I just wanted to give you the stage here, if you will, to deliver that.
Thank you, my man.
And thanks for the call, and most importantly, thanks for being a friend. You know, I don't mean it'll go all Golden Girls theme on you right here, but thanks for being a friend. And, you know, I feel that you're out there for me, Billy, even when I don't know that you're out there watching. And I appreciate the pizzas.
That's right.
I really do.
I'm not interested in the show just when I'm on it. I'm watching. You hear that, Brockman? You hear that, Michael?
I hear you. I hear you, Billy.
No,
I'm listening.
Here's what I'm going to have to deal with when you hang up, Billy, is Brockman is, what he says, is an innocent bystander in all this. Right. The pizza acquisition was not his idea. It was not his idea. He was just there, but he didn't think it. No, like, TJ, you're the only one who said at some point, like, "Hey, what about Rich? Should we?"
That was me,
right?
Yeah.
And then for me to find out that it happened, and then I found out the excess amounts of pizza that were acquired because of how cheap they are. They got it to get a deal, so that. They got 12 pies, for crying out loud.
Here's the
12,
thing.
a dozen.
They egged me on to get them. So it wasn't like it was my idea.
Mike, you started talking about it over the summer, though.
Billy, they're trying to just
No,
throw
here's the
me
problem.
under.
Here's the problem is that I want this to be a lesson
I see
learned.
how they're turning. But listen,
Right.
Rich, I want you to know that I've written some letters, and we're going to have a committee put together, and we're going to look into this, and we're going to get to the bottom of who's responsible for what. Because, you know, if we let this go, who knows what this leads to in the future? We don't want to set a precedent.
Or how about this? Let's reverse engineer it, Billy. Let's have them come up with various foods that I like so much that they refuse to include me on, and then I find out on live television that I can get in copious amounts because people feel bad for me. So why don't you guys try and get some Primanti brothers together, at Carlo's Bakery from Cake Boss for dessert, talk about getting that and don't get it. I mean, and then we start getting it in copious amounts here. We can game the system.
Rich, I'm going to ask Billy if he's sending stuff from
say the
Pittsburgh.
word, and I'll have some of that vinegar slaw sent right to the house.
Could Billy send some original Oyster House fish sandwiches from stations from Market Square?
See,
No, you know the Oyster House. Now, see, you're starting. I'm starting to warm up to you again.
That's my favorite fish sandwich, Billy. If you could send some of those, that'd be great.
That's the best, right?
Talking this man's
Fish Fry
language.
Friday.
That was it.
You take care of yourself, Billy. Let's chat again soon, okay?
All right, listen, much love to all you
See you,
guys,
buddy.
and
Bye-bye, Billy.
love to your families.
Same to
Be
you.
safe in the holidays. Take it a day at a time, and we're going to get through all this, man. God bless you guys.
Same to you. That's Billy
to you.
Gardell.
Take care, Billy.
Great human, great actor, great person, great fan. Big fan. At Billy Gardell on Twitter. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.